Hello, everybody, and good to see you. Welcome to the Jeff Ahern Show for Friday. As I straighten my hair slightly, just catching that in the. This is more. This is more than straightening can handle. This is haircut territory right here. That made it worse. All right. Well, I think I'm getting a haircut this week. I'm growing a goatee, so it's not just like he's got lazy. He's not shaving. Shave. I'm shaving around here to get the goatee popping. Yeah, so I'm going to grow this goatee until people tell me they don't like it, and then I will succumb to public pressure and then get rid of it again. But yeah, I hope you're having a great week. Join me at jeffahern.com if you haven't already. Don't forget Jeremy's Razors, Ahern15 for 15% off. You can get yourself some great shaving supplies there. And we'll get right into the news. And it's been it's all submarine all the time, basically, submersible, if you will. It's weird, like we've got to, like in a normal news week, the world's ending and everybody's fighting and there's just chaos and we're all going to die and everybody don't forget to hate each other and and then you're like, oh wait, this is a really cool story. All right, let's put all that on the back burner and let's just and then focus on the sub. So I'm not against it because it's like all the news, but it's like it just goes to show you we are directed, we are guided as to what to think and what to be upset about and what what's important and what's going to kill us and it's all a plan. Like, all right, let's give them a little break from the usual the usual divisiveness and fear campaigns, and we'll just talk about this sub. It's interesting, and then we'll go back to scaring the crap out of everybody.
Speaking of plans and everything, I got to teach you about a couple of things. One, I can relate to the haircut and all that haircuts. As you get older, you don't need it as much, even though a trim would be good. But definitely, it's time for a beard cut, and I think I might do that either this weekend or early part of next week. I've got to go to my appointment calendar and figure out when he can get me in the next.
You could be Santa. You would be a great Santa by Christmas. I don't know. I don't think you should shave.
I don't know. I think it's time for a trim. So I hear what you said about saying everything. But I did have a quick question for you because it's a very important question, and it's very one about the divisive nature of the world and everything. I'm going to get to the stuff too, but about the divisive nature of the world and all. I've noticed it like it was 4 years ago that there are newer candidates coming in all the time from the Republican Party. I think that the guy from Florida announced. I think another guy from Texas announced. So my question for you, Jeff, is when are you announcing? Because apparently there's going to be like 20 or 25 people going to be running for the presidency against Mr. Trump. And Mr. DeSantis. So when is the Jeff Ahern candidacy, and what can we here at Pod TV do to help you launch your candidacy? Because I think that it's time for the Jeff Ahern Republican candidacy.
All right, I'll look into it. I think it's always you have to have like so many signatures, or you actually have to be a legitimate candidate. But hey, if I could hit the signature thing, I would do it as a joke. I think that's the way Donald Trump approached it at the beginning, and then he said, "Wait a minute, I could actually win this." He's like, okay, I guess I'll be the president now. I don't know. When Trump got into it, I think it was more of a lark. Like, let's try it out. Then he got all into it. He couldn't stop himself. But yeah, I'm in. Count me in, Mark. If it's easy and I can set it up, I'll run. It'll be a very weak campaign with very few campaign stops. But I'll put my name in the hat like all these other yutzes.
Yeah, you must put your name in the hat. Might as well put your name in the hat. As you can tell, I'm ready to be your campaign manager. And should you get lucky and win the presidency, I'm already going to be in touch with some of my rock fans, some of my friends in the rap and the hip hop and the jazz and blues world. I figure we'll have a great blowout gala and several other parties should you win. So I'll be in charge of the entertainment should you go ahead and win, but I'll definitely take that campaign manager role should you put your name into the hat.
Please do. Please sign me up. Put me in this. Let's make it happen. I'm more excited about the party than anything else.
I can see it now. I can see it now. Jeff will win the presidency on a lark, like you said, Donald Trump did and everything. And as soon as the party is over, and as soon as the inauguration is over, on day 2, he'll go over to the vice president and be like, "Hey, it's yours. I'm calling."
Yeah, honestly, Mike, that's what I was about to say. I'm like, just right after that party, I'm gonna be real hungover, so maybe I'll give it a day just to, so I'm not so pasty on camera, and I'll be like, "Hey, whoever number 2 is, they got it from here."
I just came for the party. That's the only reason I came was for the party.
Why
But
not?
I'll let you get back to the news. I did see that the NBA was having a draft yesterday, so I was glad to see that for the first time since Henry Ellenson had been drafted, one of our Marquette guys got drafted. He went early, but Omax is going to be playing for the Dallas Mavericks. He, I think, got drafted first by Sacramento, and then Sacramento traded him to Dallas, so it looks like he might be a Maverick, but we haven't had one in like about 7 or 8 years, so he's the first one that got drafted. Now, there have been others like Marcus Howard and others that have come in and got some play, but they weren't necessarily drafted on that fateful draft day and everything.
Oh yeah,
so
well that's
good.
great. Good for Marquette, and good for him. And I'm a UConn alum, so they go all the time. They got some good guys on that team.
They got some good guys, and I'm
we're
sure
still champs. We're still champs as of right now. Until next year's tournament. So living La Vida Loca until then.
Might as well. It'll be interesting because when we clash next year, it'll be the national champs, your alumni against the Big East champs, my alumni. Because we won the Big East title, but we did not win the national championship like y'all did. But we are in the same conference, so I'm sure that will be part of the.
Yeah, we do play Marquette. You're right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, you made me think I should put some UConn swag up here, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Get to it when that time comes. I'll bounce off and let you get back to the news. If I hear you say anything that is needed to be commented on, like those sub people, like I told you earlier, I don't know what they were thinking or why you would even go on a sub trip when I don't know what you would find down there. But then again,
sounds awful.
Huh?
It just sounds awful. Like it does. Like it just. Like it's not like if it was like a really like big apparatus, a big sub. Okay, you got some room. You could walk around. You couldn't even have everyone. Everyone had to sit Indian style, and then one person could stretch their legs out like that, and then they would have to take their legs in, and then someone else could stretch their legs out. And then they got a box that they poop in. So if anyone takes a dump, that thing stinks for the whole trip. It's not like that air's ever leaving the vessel.
And like I said, I get some things that make sense to go to visit. I don't know what you go see in the Titanic ruins. Like I said, there's this mythological city that exists. So if they had said they were going down there to find Atlantis, at least I can go for that because there might be something that is actually down there that is Atlantis. Or even if they were saying that they were going to find, and I don't claim to be the most biblical or the most religious person in the world, but even if they were going to like down in parts of Israel to find maybe some missing scrolls, or I think at one point my understanding of the 10 Commandments is that they dropped, so maybe there's 2 or 3 that are missing, or maybe there's some periods that they were missing and they went to go find those.
Find some extra commandments
I might get that.
Listen to.
Huh?
You find 2 or 3 more commandments that everyone's going to ignore. Like the first 10.
But I'm just saying,
you barely handle the first 10, Mark. I don't know if you can. If they're going to take any more.
But I'm just saying. But at least those are things that you could theoretically find, because as I said, definitely there's this notion that there's an Atlantis down there. I don't have any proof one way or the other, but at least there's a notion that there may be a mysterious city way down in the ocean. So that makes sense, because if there's a city, there are people and there's stuff, and you can have a whole adventure down there. And if there are lost items like in the Red Sea or the Dead Sea or whatever, then those kind of adventures I get. I followed enough of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom to get those kind of adventures, but I don't know that I follow going down to see something that I don't know what you're seeing. But
no, it sounds terrible. It just sounds, the whole experience sounds like an ordeal. It just it from start to finish. I don't get how you could even get in the thing in the first place when you see the guy with the little Game Boy, or the PS3 controller. Like, I don't know how you see that and don't immediately leave this tiny cramped, MRI tube or whatever.
Well, like I said, my sadness goes out because I do know that they did say
that
he perished and all of that, but
it's
just from a logical standpoint, I did not quite understand it. But I'll let you get back to the news. If I hear you talk about some stuff, I may pop back on. But definitely, that's my question: is I just don't understand it. But
I don't get it either. It's and in the end, they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have. Hindsight is. I'd say hindsight's 2020, but honestly, you didn't need hindsight to know this was a bad idea. If you got on a good sub, if you got in there, you're like, oh, this looks like a submarine, not like a child's toy. literally with the child's toy controller. I don't get it. And it's just sad. And then the kid didn't want to go, but he went for his dad. Just sad all the way around. And then the worst part is there's like people like, oh, but they were rich, they deserved it. You're like, come on. There's a lot of nice rich people out there. I know you're told you're supposed to hate rich people by Democrats, but who do you think pays the taxes? Who do you think supports all the social services? Where do you think that money's coming from? You got nice rich people. I said it. You got jackasses. You got nice poor people. You got jackasses. You got nice middle class. You got It's even Stevens. The socioeconomic doesn't really determine it. It's just what they say. Making money makes you more what you already are. So if you're
I'm glad you brought that up because I invited a guest to come on to our news show, and I haven't heard back whether I think they are going to show sometime next week and everything. I got to double check, but they have written a book about the other side, and that is one of the questions that they have gotten asked before, and that I will probably ask them as well, because one of the questions that they have apparently been asked is, if you are a jerk on this side of the world, does that make you a jerk on the other side of the world, or is there like some redeeming qualities that go on when you get to the other side? But that was
you say like when you pass on, when you die, are you still a jackass, in heaven or in the when you become consciousness or whatever?
Right.
I would assume, hopefully, there's like a sieve or something that your consciousness would go through that would just get rid of all the crappy parts of it. And if there's like a reincarnation, maybe slap it back at you when you come back again, or give it to someone else to give to you. I don't know.
Who knows?
Karmic retribution.
Karmic retribution. Maybe that's what it is. But I'll find out if they agree to be on the show. But you were saying that, I was going like, yeah, there is that. And then there's that whole notion that I know religious people talk about, which is that it is easier for it's something about a needle, but it's easier for that.
That's a classic. It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter heaven. That's a crock. You think about how many there's a lot of nice rich people out there who do scholarships, who fund cancer research, who do like amazing work that wouldn't get done without them. Right. You're like, he's rich, he's got to be evil. Come on. Now don't get me wrong. There's some Austin Powers, evil people out there too. But
speaking of Austin Powers, speaking of Austin Power types, and a person connected with the network, I won't say who, and everything, was asking me yesterday about it. So I'm gonna ask you, as you are on the Republican side, but what is your thoughts about the evil empires that exist and the Illuminati and things along those lines? Because I did have somebody that asked me whether I thought that was a real thing that existed, and whether our entertainment people, politicians, and a number of other leaders were involved in that space. So just wondering, as one that travels around in those circles, is there some secret society running around controlling everything?
I don't think so. I think, everything is controlled by elites. I believe that. I don't think it's like, if you want to call it an Illuminati, then you can call it an Illuminati. But the people who have the power, the people who have the money and are made in such a way that they like control as well, that's what they're going to do. And they're going to, associate with other people who have similar beliefs. And then, you got George Soros. He's leftist Illuminati. You know what I mean? If you want, he's a power broker. He makes horrible things happen. But DAs destroying cities.
You don't have the secret handshake. I figured you were a member of this group. You had the secret handshake that you have to do in order to do these things. Because apparently it's like supposed to be secret rituals and secret things, and then maybe even folks have given their lives away to the next dimension and all of that space. Because you also hear that part of the narrative as well.
People are nuts. You got all the whole Scientology thing. I mean, all this stuff, people will just go for it. It's crazy. So yeah, there may be some club out there, rich guys, who slap each other a certain way to to signify that they're in the group. But I think the way they really do it is they just take out their mobile phone and they just point at their, the balance in their bank account. They go, okay, you clear. Come on in.
Come on in. Oh, yeah, I thought they all went to the Jeff Epstein Island, because isn't that Island?
Some of them sure did. And then you got like Hunter Biden. He got kicked out of a New York sex club. Like he was in some weird big surprise. They're not covered by the media at all, by the way, the liberal media. That was Don Trump Jr. That'd be everywhere. But yeah, he, like some 10 grand membership sex club. Like, yeah, he's too much. We can't take this guy. Your membership's revoked.
Wait a minute. They wouldn't take him. They wouldn't let him into the.
Oh, they let him in, and they realized the mistake they made. They go, this guy's off the rails. Even for our weirdo anything goes sex kink club, Get the
Maybe he was trying to
you're
do
disbarred or what? I don't know what
maybe he was trying to do some stuff that they didn't like. Maybe he likes rabbits. I don't know what.
I don't even want to think about it. But whatever these kinked up, whack job weirdos, they've got the bar down here already, and then Hunter Biden's got the bar somewhere way below that, and they're like, nah, he's too much. We can't handle this guy.
He was too much for even them, huh?
He's too much for him. Hunter Biden broke the sex club.
I don't know how you managed to break those kind of clubs and everything.
I don't know. I don't know how news organizations don't cover it. I'm like, this gold. This is gold. It's like, come on. It's got sex. It's got politics under Biden. You're not going to cover it? No.
Well, yeah, and they did cover the fact that apparently the other person on the Republican side said that he could do anything and get away with anything and nobody would care, and all in that space, because I think that's that famous quote that Trump had, and all in that space about what he can do.
And they still run that. That's still a thing. That's on T-shirts still. If you go to like lefty rallies, but Hunter Biden, God knows what like you said, doing with rabbits or squirrels or whatever. I don't know what weird stuff he's into. I know he likes guns, crack, and prostitutes. So you figure those three are in the mix, and then there's like probably got some wild card to mix in there to spice things up.
Not the spice.
Not the spice, maybe. Who knows?
Hey, maybe that's it. Maybe he likes one of the Spice Girls, and they tried to bring them there.
You know what? I'm sure I wouldn't put it past him. I'm sure he would. He'd pay top dollar, even though he's supposedly broke. But he's a new man. He's reformed.
He's reformed, and he did get that deal. He got that lovely deal.
He got the sweetheart deal. The little Hunter, don't do that anymore.
But Jeff, I got to teach you, because I've seen those deals given to both left and right folks. So
they're wrong. They are wrong across the board. That's my stance. I don't like them. They're ridiculous. Two-tier justice is not justice, and so
but we're stuck in a two-tier justice society.
We've accepted it. We're not stuck in it. We can fight it. We should fight it.
We should fight it, and then I'm going to let you get back to your news. But my question, I've asked it to you and I've asked it to other people as well, is that you can't tell me that 80% of the population, or some ridiculous amount, and I know I'm exaggerating, but some ridiculous amount of the population is the minority community, but that is what it is when you go into certain prison systems and everything. So that just tells me that certain people are better at getting away with their crimes and all along those lines. So the justice system is totally broken, and we got to figure out a way to fix the justice system so that everybody that is a criminal gets punished, and not just because you are a certain
exactly the way to fix it, I think, is deterrence. You don't get rid of deterrence, then you just have a even worse justice system. So there should be deterrence, for low level crime. There should be deterrence for high level crime, and they should be commiserate with whatever the crime is. And if you get caught, you should go to jail for it, or serve something that would convince you not to do it in the future, or convince others to not go down that path. Whether it's
you mean real jail, Jeff, as opposed to country club jail.
Yeah, I do. That's what I mean. They gotta get rid of these country club jails. That's because they're like, oh, worst case scenario, I got all this money and I gotta, I'll go, arts and crafts or do whatever. Jazane, whatever the hell are dumb, the hookers. She was a hooker too. The madam, Epstein's madam is doing, with that other Ceranos founder. While they're all playing mahjong or doing whatever, going on their nature hikes, or, I don't know, having guest lecturers come in. I mean, no, you can't have that. You're not going to put them in with like killers, but they need to go to a jail, like a jail cell with crappy food, no celebrity chefs.
No,
that's deterrent.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because I was talking to another friend, and they were talking about Martha Stewart, and we were talking about how Martha Stewart got punished, and definitely got punished, but there are other people that do similar kind of things that are still in the office. So there's insider trading that goes on regularly, and Martha got nailed, but some of the other ones are still doing it on a regular basis, whether they are Republicans or Democrats and all of that space. And it was sad news. The Unabomber decided that he didn't want to face anything, so he took his own life and everything. So that was the other news.
There's a lot.
So he came to North Carolina. He was in another jail, and then he came to North Carolina. I guess we didn't feed him the right kind of food or whatever. So he was
his vegan rights weren't upheld. He got some meat sauce on some of his rice. He flipped out.
Who knows? I just know that he came to North Carolina, and that was one of our news stories. Was that he had, I guess, decided that he had enough, despite the fact that he was the Unabomber, had definitely tortured and killed enough people himself and everything. But I guess he came to North Carolina, and I guess we did send trade him right. So maybe
it was too. You know what it was? It was the humidity, Mark. He didn't care for it. It's too humid. He likes dry heat.
Was it the humidity, or did he run into a maybe when he came in, he ran into a character from Deliverance? You know, that was a famous movie that was set in this area. So maybe he ran into a Deliverance guy. The Deliverance guy scared him into doing what he did.
Yeah, one of the jail guards who had a thing for hairy guys in hoodies. Put this on. I'll be back in an hour. I'm losing my voice. I'm sorry.
He was like, I can't handle this. I cannot handle this. So he had to take it after that. He was like, I'm gone. I just can't deal with this.
I've had my fun. I've blown a bunch of people up, and I can't blow anybody up anymore. And what's left for me?
Like I said, he came to North Carolina. Apparently we're in the news all the time. We were a swing state, and apparently the Unabomber couldn't handle it. Maybe it was the humidity, like you said.
No, I think he was a Biden guy, though, from what I remember. I'm making that up. I made that up entirely, but I'm just going to stick with it.
I think Ted was actually a Trump guy. So since we're going to go make up things, I think he was actually a Trump guy.
He might have been. We should check. But yeah, you say it with authority. You say it enough times, people believe it. So yeah, Unabomber. Oh yeah, big Biden guy.
Unabomber, big Trump guy. We're going to go back and forth and figure out which one of his
one side will listen to me, one side will listen to you.
Yeah.
Hear what you like.
And at the end of the day, somebody will come along and be like, to be honest, he hated both of them.
Yeah, he didn't like politics, period. He was a agnostic, anarchist.
Which is probably more realistic to what he was and everything. But
probably, he hated everybody. He hated society. He lived a hermit. He lived in like some like way out of off the grid. I don't know what to call the house, but like a shack or something. I don't think he was a big fan of government.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
He liked the post office, though. He had great respect for the post office.
Yeah, they delivered everything. Apparently, you might be onto something, but it was Breitbart, which I know is a conservative organization, but they did put out back in 2021 that he apparently at one point praised a eco-terrorist group that was linked to a BLM nominee that Biden was tied to and everything. So maybe he did have some ties there, but I'm sure I could also look and find another story that would have him tied into.
Probably.
So I'm sure I did a Google search just like I did with Unabomber and Biden. I probably could do the same thing with Trump and find.
If he came out as trans, though, I guarantee Biden would have had him on the White House lawn just for a visit. Hey, look at this. Look at this.
Would have just had him over there and everything.
What's that?
He would have just brought him in for the sake of it.
Yeah, you say you're trans, Biden will trot you out on the White House lawn for a photo op. Whether you're like an athlete or just some random, it doesn't matter. It's very trendy right now.
Is it very trendy? And by the way, I was right. I looked it up, and apparently a mega candidate counted Unabomber Ted Kaczynski among his intellectual influencers. So definitely,
but that's like him. That's him on the Unabomber. That's not Unabomber on him. If you said the Unabomber considered him one of his intellectual he's just a fan. This MAGA guy.
Yeah, well, it says a MAGA candidate who's courting former President Donald Trump's endorsement and has tech billionaire Peter Thiel's backing is vying for Republican nominee for Arizona Senate. So Blake Masters is one that apparently at one point praised in his writings the Unabomber. So he was one that had some things that was positive about the Unabomber from the Republican side as well. So like I said, you can find folks that
that's interesting.
Interesting thoughts about why they did or did not like basically crazy folks.
Yeah, he's off my list of potential candidates. If you're a fan of the Unabomber, he's an influence that kind of cuts you out of my wheelhouse for candidates. I don't know.
You're not going to back him now that he is done?
I don't think. Even though he's a Republican, and if he runs against a Democrat, I use my brain. I'm not going to vote for the guy who loves the Unabomber. I'll vote for the Democrat who wants to ruin the city. At least one's going to ruin it with progressive policies. The other wants to blow it up. I guess it's the
Well,
same thing at the end of the
speaking of that, I do have to tease, and I'm going to try to get her on one of our shows. Maybe I'll have her come on your show.
Sure.
But I told you that there are things about Durham, the city that I live in, that I love, and it is definitely considered a liberal city, a very liberal city in a swing state, because there are parts of Durham, parts of North Carolina that are liberal, parts that are conservative. But we had a mayor that came into office and was finishing the term of the mayor that stepped down. So she just announced, our mayor, Elaine O'Neill, I think she was the first African-American woman mayor, that now she's getting married, and she's like, skip this, because they've been having infighting on the political front with the city council members bickering at each other. So she's basically announced, I think it was yesterday, I'm done with this. I'm going to go deal with my family because y'all people are crazy. So she's announced that she's not going to run for another term, even though she didn't even do, well, I guess 2 years is a full term, but she's only done basically what amounted to one term. And now she's like, y'all are crazy. So
yeah, well, you know what? She's probably not wrong. She's like, I gotta get the hell out, and I'm going to enjoy my life rather than dealing with this nut house. She's found she's done some inner work, and she said, "I'm getting the hell out of this."
She's like, politics is crazy, and a lot of people have said that, because I have a couple of other friends on both the left and right that have been like, "No, this is not for me." So I'm going to go sit there and find me a rocking chair and just kind of like rock on the rocking chair and watch other people do the.
I'm going to be that's me, Mark. Going to be the rocking chair candidate. I'm going to do all my speeches from a rocking chair. Then I'm.
Hey, it sounds to me like you had the same idea that we're talking about. Only she went for 2 years, but it's like she got there. She did a little bit of work that she was going to do. She passed the budget, including budget. And then she's like, "I'm out."
I got to come up with like just some whatever I want really done, and then I institute that as law the first day, and then I'm like, "Thank you, good night," and then I hit the road.
I like that.
I get my top 10 things done, and then I'm look I'm even efficient. Thank you, good night.
Thank you, good night. I'm an efficient politician. We're out of here.
One day I did everything I said I would, or at least put it to law, and then just like Biden, first day drop the Keystone Pipeline. I would not do that. But it can be done.
Yeah, that's what can go on. Well, like I said that ages ago, but I couldn't resist giving you a hard time so much after your news announcement and all of that. But yeah, I did see that Elaine had gone there and said, "Yeah, 2 years, that was enough. I'm outie."
Yeah, good for her. I don't know her politics, but at least she'll live her life. She'll enjoy herself. If you're not happy where you are, move. Unless you live in a liberal city, then stay there if you voted Democrat, because it's not fair. You're just going to ruin some other city. New accusations about Rust. This is the Baldwin shooting. Baldwin killing, really. Manslaughter. That's not even manslaughter. Accidental. I don't know what they call it. Hey, he shot a person and she died. Alec Baldwin, Rust armor, charged, brother, after allegedly passing drugs off on day of shooting. Oh my gosh, she just gets worse. I mean, she seems like if you're gonna come after anyone, I mean, she would be the logical candidate. She was in charge of everything and apparently wasn't very good at her job. And you should also probably come after who the hell hired her? Why did she get hired? Was this like a diversity hire in a way? Was this, was she qualified? Was it a patronage? Not a patronage, like a nepotism hire, which I think she might have had someone in the, it matters. Merit matters. Don't hire people because you're doing your friend a favor because they're a friend of somebody who's also in the industry, or they're this sex or this race or this. No, just hire the person who's the best for the job, the most qualified person for the job. You don't have crap like this happen. But you can't do that in today's society. You have to take the merit, shove it out a window, throw it out a window, and then check off woke boxes without even looking at qualifications. Like, okay, well, this is what we need to make the rainbow. The rainbow, it's all crooked and like falling down, and it's not really a rainbow. I mean, the colors are all there, but a rainbow it ain't. Transgender male boxer. Come on. Wait, male boxer? I'm confused. I can't keep up. There's too many. I gotta do math now. If someone tells me they're transgender or this or that, I got to do math in my head. Like, well, what is the biological sex? That's what I'm trying to suss out. That's what I'm trying to get to. So I know if it's fair or not that they're boxing. So against a male or female. Transgender male boxer Patricio Manuel picks up third victory Picks up victory in third career fight. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean it's like he's got a beard? Now, if it's a woman going into a male sport, I'm fine with that. They're at a distinct disadvantage. If they can win, and good. But if it's a biological male going into a female sport, that's cheating. It's corrupt. It's sad and pathetic. That's just my opinion. There. Garland faces Hunter Biden questions. I gotta see. I'm gonna check. So what I'm gonna say, what is the guy? What is the guy? What is biologically? What is he? Third career, Manuel tops Alex Gutierrez. Oh, so maybe it's a female who went male. Well, in that case, yeah, more power to you. That's not an easy thing to do. I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I can't get into this. There's too much math to figure out who's a man and who's a woman. Come on, cut to the chase here, Fox. Tell me tell me what parts are taken off and what parts are put on.
Wikipedia is a wonderful thing. So I found out about this particular person. Patricio Manuel, nicknamed Chakahate, is an American professional boxer. In 2018, he became the first publicly transgender boxer in the history of the United States to have a professional fight. He fought his last fight as a woman in 2012 against Tyara Brown. Wow. His next bout was in December 2018 after his transition, where he took on Hugo Aguirre and won by unanimous decision. So apparently this particular person was born as a woman, to answer your question.
And then bravo. That's very impressive. That's can I call him a stud? It's a stud.
And apparently he's whatever the correct terminology is, undefeated now, because they just picked up that other win that you were talking about. But yes, their record is 3-0, and they did start off their career, the 37-year-old, as a woman, and they have 5 national titles and some other things going for them.
Wow, Rob, that to me is extremely impressive. So you got this biological woman who's killing it, just beating everybody, and it's like, well, what can I do to challenge myself further? I'm going to take on men. All right, you know what? This is a beautiful story. I love this story. Now, if you do it the other way, and it's like some ranked 200 dude, and he's like, I'll be a woman, and he starts pounding chicks in the ring. It's not the same. It's not a real tearjerker or a heartstring pulling movie of the week.
You're not feeling that one and everything. And apparently, there's a couple of folks that are like that, because back in 2021. Elena McLaughlin, the second openly transgender woman to compete in MMA, won their debut via submission. So the 38-year-old used a rear neck choke against Celiane Provost to end that fight, and McLaughlin began their gender transition after leaving the U.S. Army Special Forces in 2010.
So that was a guy, biological man, Special Forces guy, who then starts beating the crap out of women. I'm pretty sure that's like domestic violence. That's assault. I mean, it's like a crime. It's not a fight. It's not a sport. We're witnessing a crime. Jesus. That's terrible. Yeah, it's like they're two extremes. One, you're like, wow, that's pretty impressive. The other, you're like, oh, this guy's a monster. He just wants an excuse to beat women. Ugh. But hey, the sanctioning bodies are like, oh, okay, this is great. Like how many women have to have their faces crushed in before you're like, maybe we don't let the guys punch them in the head.
Well, I'm looking at their page and everything, and they have an interesting nickname, and I did have some friends that were in the cat space and animal space, and I've even owned some cats myself. But because they're getting their wrists taped, as many a boxer and MMA fighter will, and the chair is literally the seating name, I guess that's their name, is Lady Feral. So if anything knows about feral cats, I'm going like, that is an interesting nickname if I've ever heard one and everything. But that is their nickname that they are choosing, is Lady Feral.
This for the biological male who's whooping up on women?
Yes, that's
Lady Feral. Oh my God. I don't care for him.
Well, this is what they said in a quote. And like I said, this was from 2 years ago, and I know you probably won't agree, but 2 years ago they said, if we want to see more trans athletes, if we want to see more opportunities for trans kids, we're going to have to work out ways into those spaces and make it happen. McLaughlin told Outsports, it's time for trans folks to be in sports and be more normalized. That is what that particular person said.
What? That's what I have no problem with trans people being in sports, biological males, but they who want to be women. but they need their own league. That's fair. Now it's not, the fact that like people are sort of coming to their senses, but there's still like, you can't say it or you get canceled. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Like you're just pointing out the obvious. You should not have especially in a combat sport, have a biological male. You know what? I just saw a video the other day. It was kind of funny. It's like Marine basic training. There's like, and they have the big like American Gladiator things where they're like the big Q-tips, and they got their helmets on. And there's a biological woman who's a woman. No one's trans in this. And then there's a man who, if he says, "Oh, my name's Sheila today," could literally compete against this woman in an MMA fight. So they go together. The guy comes running in, just levels her. She's like, I'm like, thank you. That's it in a nutshell. You got a biological male against a biological woman. That is generally speaking going to be the end result. It's completely unfair.
Well, apparently,
people will be like, this is progress.
Well, apparently there is
violence against women.
Apparently, there was a conversation that went on earlier this year, I think back in February, where one of the boxing agencies, I think it was the WBC, the World Boxing Council, has proposed transgender boxers should have their own division rather than fight in the existing male or female category. So the WBC is the first of boxing's major bodies to join other sports in considering introducing laws regarding transgender participation, announcing proposals for a specific category for transgender fighters. The proposal was announced back in December and remains largely hypothetical and has drawn a mixed response, of course, from the transgender boxers. So
they want to cheat.
Critics have called the move dehumanizing toward transgender athletes.
Oh, dehumanizing!
It encourages permanent segregation as well as the unnecessary as well as being unnecessarily given. The WBC does not have a single transgender boxer that it sanctions. So they were also saying that maybe they're getting ahead of the game and all in that place.
It needs to be, they have to have their own league, and then it's fair. You either do what woman transitions to a man, and then do whatever you like. That's fair. You're at a distinct disadvantage, so more power to you. Or you have
the person we were talking about, the Patricia, that was a woman. They did have a quote, but another transgender boxer, trailblazer Patricio Manuel, does not share the same view, saying it was heartbreaking to have the WBC, a leader in my sport, argue that I don't have a place in the ring as a man.
See, I agree with him. If you're a female, you have every right to try your luck against males, because biologically you have the deck is stacked way against you. But the problem is, if you have a transgender league, we have to be fair to the men who want to assault the women, and not let this woman who wants to compete as a man be in there. So he gets screwed on the deal, which it stinks for him. But at the same time, but that's the world we live in. There's this cockamamie, no common sense. Everybody's a victim. It's also stupid. It's like, if you're a woman and you want to fight against a man, all right, good luck. If you're a man, you want to fight against a woman, no way. It's not going to happen. It's all right, done. Sign it off. That's my first law, Mark.
That's your first law.
Day one on my 1 day as president.
Your 1 day as president?
That's
so you're going to back Patricio if she wants to continue their record of because apparently they're whooping up on some man. They whooped up on at least 5 or 6. So if they want to keep this record going and become maybe undefeated, you're perfectly fine.
Yeah. And then the guys that he beat, they can then become transgender. They'll become, if what they want to do is they'll become transgender, go the other way, and then they'll be, they'll win their whole division, even though they're really mediocre as male athletes. They'll start punching the faces into these poor women.
So they're going to
people like, progress. That's the worst part, is the liberals just like, this is great, isn't it? So you're watching an assault on the street, you would be calling the police.
Yeah, but and I got to teach you again about your favorite person, because what's his name? Our former president say that he could pretty much not just assault a woman, but also grope a woman, and nobody would say anything. And it does seem like he, as well as some Democrats, I think that both Republicans and Democrats have groped at some folks and groped against even some underage.
Biden's a groper too. Let's not forget that he chased a woman out of the country who had very credible claims against him that the media ignored because it was Biden and not Trump.
That's the problem. That's the problem why you can't be president. I've got to figure out a way to do damage control and spin control as your campaign manager, because I know that you're happily married and you've got, I think, a kid or two and everything. You
Sure.
haven't groped enough people, so I've got to figure out how to damage control the campaign because
Yeah,
both
that's a good point. I need to
Biden
grope
and
somebody.
Trump have been in that groping area and have done some things in that space. So I think that that's part of what you need to do to be a successful candidate.
Right.
So I've got to do some damage control, some spin control, because you are living too good of a life
Yeah.
and you're not doing enough bad things that
Well,
you need to.
let me drink some more coffee. I'll go out get. I'm not gonna grope anybody, but I'll paw. How about that? I'll paw.
Your Paul.
Paw. That's the best I
Okay.
can do. I'm not gonna do a
Well,
grope. I'll just I might have touched something.
tap him on the shoulder, and maybe just a tap on the shoulder might accidentally
Yeah,
graze some other part
exactly. A
of the body.
slide. I'll go for a slide, or you know what? I'll do for the classic Seinfeld full stop. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
That was the movie of George's dad, where he would hit the brakes and then throw his arm this way to hold the woman, but really it was just a cop of feel.
So we got to have you
I'll
do
full
that.
stop. I'll full stop with somebody.
Okay, that'll work. I need pictures of that so we can get it on Instagram and help the campaign because that's the only way we got to go viral. It's all about the viral and the influence.
Yeah, put a camera in the car so everyone can see it. I'm like, oh no, it's a squirrel ran out in front of the car.
You can see your wife now sitting there going like, he does that all the time. It's okay.
Yeah, that's his move. That's his signature move. that was the bit in Seinfeld. That's my move. Like Kramer, full stop with his wife Estelle. I think. I've been watching too many Seinfeld clips these days.
That's what Seinfeld. Like Seinfeld is good. I need to go back and watch some Seinfeld myself, and maybe even watch some Frasier. Even though a lot of people were
Frasier, I like Frasier. I met Daphne once. I was doing audience warm up, and she was a guest on Craig Ferguson's show. She was a sweet lady, very nice lady. And I know her name's not really. I don't think her name's actually Daphne. Though. I wish I could remember her real name, but she was very nice.
She was the character that played on the
yeah. She was the maid, and she was the maid, I guess, right? She was the housekeeper, the helper for Frasier's dad. But yeah, she was really cool. She's a very nice lady.
Jane something is her name.
I think it is. Yeah, Jane something.
Hold a second.
Reese, maybe Jane.
Jane Levy's. Daphne Crane is a fictional character on Frasier, played by Jane Levy's, Leves. So
yeah, she's a nice lady,
and apparently she's from Manchester. So maybe she's over there enjoying the fine stuff that is going on in politics from that neck of the woods. Because I do know that people are still trying to figure out whether Meghan and Henry and the whole gang will ever be fully accepted by Charles and everything, and I'm going like, well,
they will take him back with open arms as soon as he dumps the trailer trash, dumps the gold digger. When he cuts.
Once Megan leaves, then they'll take him back. But
welcome him back with open arms. They'll be like,
hold on a second,
hey.
I gotta tease you about something because you said that she is trailer trash. I don't know enough about Megan or anything.
I'm exaggerating. I don't like her. So I'm kind of ramping up.
Hold on a second, but it did
run out of power soon.
But did the current king also have like some little side woman
Camilla
dealing with it that is now his queen? So I don't know that we can really go there when Camille was the side chick and now she's the main chick because
she's the main chick. Well, I think the thing was like he and my power. If my power runs out, consider that my goodbye. But if I get it in, the Camilla was the side chick. Again, I think I got this right. Charles never really wanted to marry Diane. He wanted to marry Camilla, but they said no. It wasn't for whatever reason. Can't do it. Diana's no dud. So I married Diana, and then then they just started cheating on each other nonstop, both of them. And but he always, I think, had a thing for Camilla. So now he's with the woman who he probably should have been with at the beginning if he went off like his love or whatever. But then you got Harry who's just got besmirched. Not besmirched. He got bewitched by Meghan, and even the Queen. I thought the Queen was our supporter. Even the Queen's like, that girl's like evil. We don't want her. She's no good. That's Queen Elizabeth, who everyone loves and respects. So I'm just going off of what Queen Elizabeth says. And then they called them grifters because of the podcast that they never did. And they said Meghan wouldn't even do like the actual interview. She'd have like her producer do the interviews, and then she would do voiceover questions, as the producer. I was just like, trash.
I'm not gonna speak evil of the dead because she's passed on. But it is my understanding that Queen Elizabeth had some history in her own life and everything
Uh-oh.
in that space. So like I said, I'm not going to
Well, I don't know. I'm talking about old cute, walk around Queen Elizabeth. I don't know her backstory. Maybe it's terrible. I don't know.
I don't know all of it. I just know that, that was, well, she wasn't the queen at the time that a lot of the colonialism was going on. So she definitely has that as part of her legacy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's like you're born into that stuff. I mean, it's not like you're like, I'm going to be a colonialist. I mean, that's just kind of, oh, I guess I'm a, she doesn't even know what a colonial is. That's like it's not a new term, but it's a new, new way to insult people, I guess. You're a colonialist. Well, I'm not. I'm just some dude living, in California. I happen to be white. Okay, all right. I guess I'm a colonialist. What? Don't make no sense.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know what her policies was with the folks from the nations that she colonized and all in that space, but I'd have to go and read some of the history and see if she was.
Well, I know she wasn't nice to the Falklands. I don't think they.
No, she was nice to. No, she was definitely not nice to the Falklands. What was that, like one of the world's
shortest wars or whatever? Yeah, they had like no army or military, and then England had planes and ships, and it's like bang, bang, bang. Like, okay, all right. Back to business as usual.
Yeah, walking to the Falklands is basically like, we can't do nothing with you. Go ahead, do whatever you want.
All right, we'll pay our taxes. We don't have any tea to throw in the water.
We can't do the U.S. We got no tea. We got nothing else. So whatever y'all want.
Hey, Mark. I got to cut out because it's saying low battery. But
I'm sorry.
I hate to admit how unprofessional I am, but this is.
No, you did great. And I'm sorry.
I had to change cameras in order to get the plug in.
Because, I took away from your news stuff. We were just having banter back and forth.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. So, but have a great week, man, and I will see you next week. And yeah, I'm excited for my presidential campaign.
And we've announced it here on the network, so get prepared. So, like I said, there was about 20 other candidates on the Republican side. So I think we just
21.
That's right. You're 21 now.
Blackjack. That's gonna be my nickname, Blackjack, because I'm candidate 21.
Candidate 21, the Blackjack candidate, the wild card. We have just announced the wild card candidacy, so we got to find ways to. Part of our campaign strategy is going to be finding ways to catch some scandals on the other 20. Yep. So I need you to do some research. We got to find some stuff on everybody from Trump to DeSantis to Nikki Haley and
make it up like the media does.
Hey, weren't they all at a party together recently? And did they all get? Yeah, that's our move. We're gonna say they were all in a
Illuminati party.
They were hanging out with Biden. They're all really friends with Biden. We've just eliminated all 20 of them.
And then I win. All right, buddy. Hey, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week. And yeah, I'm all in on president.
Sounds good. Well, we're going to go out since I was very serious. I also need this beard trim, so I'm going to try to get it before next week and all that space. But let's go out with your Jeremy razor. So I think that's what we're going to go out with.
Yeah, let's sell some razors. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Later.
Hello and welcome to Newsday with Jeff Ahern. I'm your host, Jeff Ahern. Today's top story. Remember Harry's Razors, the company that stopped advertising with the Daily Wire after hearing something as innocuous as boys are boys and girls are girls? They called it inexcusable. Look, I know you're a grooming company, but you don't have to take the grooming part quite so literally. I'm surprised the razors don't come with a rainbow handle and a discount code for a sex change, especially after deciding to put their emphasis on pandering over product. But credit where credit is due. Their product is great at exfoliating. It exfoliated conservative customers right off of their balance sheet, taking a straight razor to profits and leaving a once loyal customer base with a really bad case of razor burn. And for what? Not being in lockstep with leftist wokeism? This has to be the greatest shaving blunder since someone gave Sweeney Todd a chair at the local barbershop. But who can blame Harry's Razors for buckling under the pressure of a Twitter user's complaints? I mean, this guy had 2 followers. Look out, Kim Kardashian. Here comes, what's his face? And I bet one of his followers was probably trying to sell him crypto. Harry's claimed they were pulling their ads due to a values misalignment. What values? Woke grandstanding? Progressive preening? All you did with this woke publicity stunt was make your entire company as disposable as your razors. Because there's a new shave in town, Jeremy's Razors. Because I don't want another woke lecture. I want a tungsten handle, flip back trimmer, shave fit for a man. Blades sharp as truth that cut through bearded stubble like common sense cuts through liberalism. A razor for deep shaving deplorables, for flyovers with facial hair. A man's razor from a company still willing to admit there's such a thing as a man. Let Harry's go in on the trans market. I guess they figure those are guys are going to shave more than most people anyways. Especially if they want to appear even remotely feminine. I mean, it's bad enough you're going to break every female sports record while sporting male genitalia. So why do you got to rub it in sporting a 5 o'clock shadow? It's time to take a stand against woke cancel culture with a great clean shave. And don't forget to lather up with Jeremy's shaving cream before you do. Made with green tea oil to calm irritation and reduce redness. Almond oil, which creates a cushion for your blade. And cocoa butter, which reduces bumps. All available at jeremysrazors.com. Go there right now and use promo code Ahern15 to get 15% off your next purchase. Stick it to the man, or whatever Harry's identifies as. So head over to jeremysrazors.com and tell them Jeff sent you.